We're out on court today to test the On the Roger Pro Fire. Let's get started.
This is the third shoe I have play tested from On this year, and while the first two didn't quite work for my feet, I came in with an open mind with these Fires. I really liked the ventilation of these shoes. We play tested these in the summer months and my feet stayed nice and cool. Another thing I enjoyed was the stability. I felt that I sat nice and deep within the shoe, and I used that extra eyelet and just felt nice and locked in on that aspect. Now, comparing these to the Pro 2s, I found some improvements which I was really excited about. The first was I thought that the traction had improved. I found there was a nice blend of give and grip. And another thing was I was surprised to see was the weight. When I play tested these shoes, I didn't look at the weight at all until after the play test, and I was actually shocked to see they were a little bit heavier than the Pro 2s, as I felt that they played lighter. And I think the reason behind that was that there was a really good heel to toe transition. They didn't quite feel as slappy, and I was able to move around more seamlessly. And another thing I thought improved slightly was the cushioning underfoot. There's some nice cushioning under the heel and a little bit more in the forefoot, as well as some nice cushioning around the ankle and on the tongue. Now for the negatives, I still didn't have that perfect fit. They fit a tad slightly short, although I did stay in my true size. They may be a little bit longer than the Pro 2s, but I do feel like my toes are right there. I didn't go up a half size as I felt that the rest of my foot was fitting nicely within the shoes. One thing I noticed was that the toe box was a little bit shallow, so especially up towards the tip of the shoe, so I was feeling the top of the toe box rub against the top of my toes. And this combined with, I was missing a little bit of support, so my feet were moving forwards and backwards within the shoe, so I was getting a little bit more rubbing on the top of the toes, which is creating some blisters for me overall, so I couldn't get a great comfortable fit. However, I do think that On made a great step in the right direction with these shoes. I think the cosmetics look great, and they are a really high performing shoe. They just didn't quite work for me.
Pulling these Roger Pro Fires out of the box, I have to say On really does a good job with all of the cosmetics on their shoes. I'm holding the white base cosmetic here, but I wore the original pink colorway, and I have to say, either way, the cosmetics of these shoes are just outstanding. When I put my foot in these shoes, they did feel a little snug, both width-wise and length-wise. I did end up staying in my true size. I didn't have a chance to try in a half size, but my original size did end up working out. With my wider feet, it did take me an hour or two of wearing them before I felt like the uppers relaxed enough where I wasn't getting too much squeezing in the forefoot, which is an improvement for me over the On the Roger Pro 2s. Those on the lateral side had a hard plastic piece that never relaxed and always was squeezing my foot in the forefoot, so I much preferred the fit here. Once I was on court, I really liked the court feel I was getting. I felt like they were low to the ground in the forefoot with a nice cushioned feel in the heel. The traction level was right on, so I felt really sure of foot. I was never slipping, nor was I feeling stuck to the court. I felt really fast in them as well. Britt had mentioned that they don't feel as heavy as the weight would indicate, and I felt that too. I was just moving pretty easily in these shoes, and I really liked the stability level. However, as hours wore on, I wore these a long time. I really did wish for a little bit more cushioning in the forefoot. Overall though, I think this is my favorite high performing shoe from On, and just can't wait to see what they come out with next.
This is my first time playing or even wearing an On shoe, and I gotta say guys, they did not disappoint. Not only I got the most compliments while playing on this shoe, but they exceeded on stability, lightness, and durability. First thing I kind of want to cover with this shoe is the fit. The shoe felt a little too small and lengthwise for me. The second I first tried them on, I could feel like my toes were touching the end of the shoe, which I preferably don't want on a tennis shoe. I don't like my toes being super cramped up. However, to try to keep it as honest as I could in this review, I stayed with my size, and they did open up a bit more towards a couple of hours of playing in them, so that felt a little better for me. I didn't experience any discomfort on that area. Continuing a little bit with the fit of the shoe, I do have to say the shoe has more of a boxier feeling at the front. Even from the outside, you can tell how the toe box has a boxier shape, which was not an issue for me, but it's the first time I've ever felt it with a tennis shoe. Now, this shoe is a very low to the ground, light cushioning shoe, which for me was not an issue since I value more support and stability over comfort. They do need a little bit of a break-in time to get a little more comfortable and your feet get adjusted to it. But I did appreciate how much support and stability they offer. My feet were not moving around in them at all. Durability-wise, I think the shoe shined the most. I could barely see any wear on the sole and the top area. Even though for such a light shoe, they hold themselves very well onto the ground. The other thing I kind of want to talk about is that the only issue I had was on the inside side of the shoe. It kept hitting my ankle, so it created some discomfort, and I even got 2 blisters on both sides of my feet when I was sliding and switching directions. I know On try to keep that part a little higher so it will hold itself from not breaking the lace for when you're sliding on the court, but it was a bit of an issue for me and created some pain. Now guys, this is definitely a wonderful option for high performance people that are looking for a durable, light and stable shoe. And if you're looking to get a lot of compliments on a shoe, please check this one out.
This new Roger Pro Fire is my favorite shoe of the year so far, and I couldn't be any more excited to be on this review right now. I know that some of the other playtesters had some issue with sizing, but for me, honestly, my regular size fit me perfectly. I had 0 issues with the length of the toe box. I also didn't need any break-in time at all, basically. The shoe was good to go right away. I will say that after about a few hours of playing, the shoe started flexing a little bit more, which was a really nice feature of the shoe. Just it became a bit more flexible, a bit more comfortable as the playtest went on. It won't be a surprise to anyone if I say that this is not the most cushioned shoe out there on the market, but it doesn't take away at all from the amazing comfort levels I felt with the shoe. The upper hugs my foot very nicely. My feet are medium width and the shoe fit me perfectly. I did not feel any pain anywhere throughout this playtest. I easily put in over 40 hours on the shoe, and not only was it extremely comfortable, lightweight and speedy, I will also say that I didn't see any wear on the outsole or the upper. I even tested the shoe on the red clay courts of Europe, sliding around, and I could not put any wear on the outsole. Support levels were absolutely incredible. This shoe is really built for someone like me who moves more aggressive on court, who is looking for that nice support, but also loves to feel nice and connected to the ground. There was no movement where I felt unsupported. Even in my riskier shots where I'm changing directions very fast, I thought I could push off easily and at the same time kind of turn and change directions easily. So traction was just optimal for me. All in all, I could not say anything negative about this shoe, and if you're a player like me who is looking for something stylish, comfortable, supportive, and yet durable, definitely check this one out. Thank you for watching. For more information on this shoe or any others, please go check out Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.